A boss be rising, baby TV's igniting. Turn the volume up, yeah, the whole world's invited. From the gravel roads to the neon dreams, she built an empire out of broken wings. Boss be rising, sky ain't even the ceiling. When she hits go live, everybody feels it. She's the queen of the comeback.
What if your best friend isn't toxic, evil, fake, or somebody you want out of your life? What if you love the hell out of her? You'd still answer the phone at 2 in the morning, and you fully intend to be sitting beside her when you're both old and complaining about everything. But there's one problem. You cannot keep being friends the way you've been friends. So tonight we're talking about something harder than ending a friendship. We're talking about changing one you actually want to keep.
Need advice? Ask a bee. The answers may not be perfect, but they'll be entertaining. Submit your letters and let Bee mind your business for a while.
All right, y'all. Welcome back to Ask a Bee and the final night of our week that is when being bestie isn't bestie for you. And we've spent this week talking about expectations, hidden resentment, boundaries, finding your voice, and all the complicated little things that can happen when two people love each other but aren't always good at being friends to each other. Tonight, we're bringing all of it home with a writer who doesn't want permission to walk away. She just wants to know how the heck you stay. Because, sometimes the answer isn't cutting somebody off, blocking their number, deleting, I don't know, 17 years of pictures. No, dramatically announcing that you've removed negativity from your life, that's not going to get it either. Sometimes you love that fool. You do. Sometimes she's family. Sometimes the friendship is absolutely worth saving. But the current version of it isn't, right? So, what happens when you don't need a friendship breakup? You need a friendship renovation. Maybe we can find out with our letter today. All right, let me scoot on over as usual. Okay. Sorry, y'all. It's still hot in Texas. My Beyonce is flying. It's got the hair going everywhere. I'm going to cut all this stuff off, I'm telling you. Then I'll regret it. All right. Dear B, I've been listening to people talk about toxic friendships and boundaries. And almost every piece of advice seems to end with some version of walk away. But what if I don't want to walk away? My best friend and I have been through years of life together. She has seen me at my absolute worst and stayed. I've seen her at hers and stayed too. We've laughed until we couldn't breathe, cried together, helped each other through things nobody else fully understands, fought like sisters, made up like sisters, and there goes that word, pardon me, accumulated. I know I still ain't saying it right, accumulated enough inside jokes that half our conversations probably sounded like nonsense to everybody else. Oh, I know those. Me and my bestie know those. I love this woman. Let me make that absolutely clear before anybody tells me to throw the whole best friend away. I don't want another best friend. I want her. But lately, I've had to admit something I didn't want to admit. The way we've been doing friendship isn't working for me anymore. That kind of sucks. All right. Somewhere over the years, we developed habits that probably made sense when they started, but don't anymore. We became each other's emergency plan for almost everything. Money gets tight, call bestie. Need a ride, call bestie. Need help fixing a problem, call bestie. Need somebody to rearrange their whole day, call bestie. Sometimes that's beautiful because knowing somebody has your back is one of the best parts of having a close friend. Amen. But somewhere along the way, helping each other started turning into expecting each other. The expectations turned into hurt feelings when one of us couldn't deliver. We've loaned each other money, promised things we couldn't always follow through on, and said yes when we should have said no, kept quiet when we should have spoken up, and occasionally kept score, even while insisting nobody was keeping score. The friendship itself still feels real, B. That's what makes this difficult. I don't think our love for each other is the problem. I think we've built some really unhealthy habits on top of something that is actually worth protecting. All right, part three of this one. Now, I finally told her that I think things need to change, and she immediately thought I was ending the friendship. I'm not. Draw a picture of a chef with a dog. Why? The games, Nintendo, well, is it a game? Because that's not what I'm doing here. Draw a picture of a chef with a dog. Okay. Are we celebrating Clifford today? So I'm not. Let's see. I'm trying to prevent us from reaching the point where one of us does end it. I don't want money constantly moving between us. I don't want either of us assuming the other person is available before asking. I don't want that's what best friends do to settle disagreements. We talked about that one already. I don't want us saying we're fine when we're angry and then bringing it up 3 days later. I don't want either of us keeping a secret list of favors we've done for the other. And I don't want setting a boundary to become evidence that somebody doesn't care anymore. But I'm scared, B, because these patterns have been part of our friendship for so long that changing them almost feels like changing the friendship itself. What if she thinks I'm pulling away? What if I hurt her? What if we don't know how to be best friends without constantly rescuing each other? And here's the question that's really keeping me awake. Can you tell somebody I love you, but I can't keep doing friendship this way without them hearing I don't love you anymore? Signed, Bestie needs a software update. I feel that, Bestie. All right. There are perfectly good answers, pardon me, to all these questions, and hopefully I can get to. Okay. So listen. Um, hmm, wow. What a conundrum. Look, not every unhealthy friendship is an unhealthy friend, if that makes sense. I hope so. A relationship can develop bad patterns, okay, without either person being a villain. Two people can genuinely love each other, have years of loyalty, lots of history, and good memories, right? And still create habits involving money and favors and communication and expectation or rescuing that. Eventually it becomes unhealthy. How do you separate this person is bad for me from this particular way we relate to each other is bad for us, right? I mean, obviously, a writer does not want to destroy this history. Nobody does, right? And if upgrading is what it needs, then by all means, you've got to find it. But we also need to remember that it works both ways. And you need to express this to your bestie and tell them, look, this is how I feel. And if you come in not being best friends after actually sitting down and talking, not being patronizing, not being ugly at all, do your very best to be thoughtful in this process, because, of course, you don't want to hurt your best friend. But what's happening is hurting your relationship, and they need to know that so that you both can work to make it better. That's true with any situation, wouldn't you think? I mean, honestly. So, does labeling every difficult relationship toxic sometimes prevent people from fixing a relationship that's worth saving, right? Okay, let's think about that. If it's worth saving and both parties are willing, then of course, there's no toxicity in that if both are willing. Now, there may be a moment when you say, hey, look, this is how I feel, and your best friend is going to feel hurt more than likely because that's the first thing they're going to think is you want to, of course, like our writer said, that you probably um, would want to break up, so to speak, right? Break off the friendship. That's not the case here, obviously. But if you don't relay that message while you're saying, hey, this is what I feel, I need you to know I don't want this to cause a problem. I want to fix it. And then say what's wrong. There's nothing wrong with saying that. It doesn't make you weak. It's not confusing. Say what you mean. That's one of the biggest problems with people that are in a relationship that needs change. And every relationship needs change. We know this. You cannot sit stagnant in one position and expect your relationship to grow, or it's eventually just going to go away because there's nothing there for it to live off of, for it to feed off of. If the two of you can't come to a disagreement so you can make an agreement, there's no happy, it's not all rainbows and I don't know, fairy dust. You have to work to have a relationship with anybody, and especially if it's somebody that you've known for a long time. Sure, it can stay that way for a long time, and sure, it probably works then, but not always. And I'm willing to bet your best friend has probably got some things she'd like to change too. And like I said, if she's a good friend, a true friend, then she'll want to work on it with you. Patty friend, there's a true friend right there. Let me tell you. Hi, beautiful. How are you? I'm so happy to see you here. I miss you, doll. I miss you bunches. Doing it every night now. I know it's later for you, and I'm sorry, but I'm so glad to see you, honey. Thank you. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh, I missed you. I kept missing you when I wasn't doing the live, so it's a very, very nice treat. Thank you, ma'am. Now I'm all excited and happy because you know what? You really see who your friends are when you do things like this. Seriously. And like I was just talking about to my son who is um out about around Patty Friend, and Thursday is his birthday, and I'm doing a show all about him. I'm gonna go ahead and put this out there because I'm excited about this show. I've already got it written up. I've got pictures up. I'm just excited. Oh my goodness. In fact, you know what? I'm gonna show you real quick. I have to show you this real quick. Come on, Otto, get up here. Oh, you know who I'm talking to, Patty Friend. Let's see, where'd it go? Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Because I know. There it is. This is the upcoming show for Thursday. If it'll come up. There it is. That's my baby boy, my oldest. I can't wait to have this show. And that is my sweet, sweet daughter in law. Love her so much. I was blessed. Amen. Okay, I'll get back to the show. It's only 30 minutes, but I will spend some time talking to my Patty friend no matter what. All right. Let me see if I can find my place in my notes now. Okay. Does labeling every difficult relationship toxic sometimes prevent people from fixing relationships that are actually worth saving? Yes. Yes. And I don't think this situation is toxic at all. I think it just needs a shove in the right direction. And the only two people that can do the shoving is you, the writer, and your bestie. Because that's how life goes, right? All right. So to move on from that, helping each other versus becoming each other's emergency system. Now, I'll be honest with you. I don't mind being my bestie's emergency system because she is that for me. There are times that I really feel bad if I have to say no, but she understands that. And if you have that kind of relationship, there's nothing that can be done other than good from it. Sure, you're going to have your problems. Everybody does. It's a relationship. You know, that's when two people come together and choose each other. And I'm not talking about love or sex. I'm talking about a friendship, a relationship. It's about what you put to it. And it has to be both giving the same amount. And no, you don't keep count because you know it's that way. That's the better way to have a friendship. You know, my best friend says, "Hey, I really need you." I'm there because I know just as soon as I turn around and say, "Hey, I really need you," there's no mention of what happened before if I helped her the last time or what, because I know it all comes out in the wash, right? So, one of the beautiful things about close friendships is knowing someone will show up when life falls apart. But you know what? If bestie becomes the first solution every money shortage or transportation problem, um, childcare problem, emotional crisis, bad decisions, or unexpected expenses, the friendship can quietly become responsible for keeping both people's lives functioning. And that's probably, I'm guessing, where you might be. Because it sounds to me like maybe there's still balance between the two of you, but there's still things that have changed because, well, life changes, right? You change with life and you'll change together. And maybe one of you is changing and the other one isn't. And that is a very big, distinct possibility. And it's okay because you're best friends. It's okay to say to your best friend, "Hey, um, I'm willing to change this part about me, but I need you to change this part about you, and we do it together." Because, come on, you're best friends. You do everything else together, right? Why wouldn't you do why wouldn't you do change together? It's pretty much a no-brainer on that one. I've said it all week, and I've talked about my best friend here in Texas so much, so much, because this week we've had our rough times, okay? Her and I have, in fact, recently, sorry, I think I'm lagging again, but we have recently had a couple of small little arguments, things that we never argued over before. And we both realized, hey, okay, let's change a little bit here. And that's kind of why when I saw this first letter, I went looking for a week's worth of letters on this same kind of subject. Because everybody has a best friend, they just have different situations. And you're not trying to make life complicated. You're trying to set it, everything is changing one set of complications for another. There's always going to be complications. You just have to weed those out and figure out what best works for the two of you. Okay. I'm going off on a tangent here because I'm telling you, me and my best friend, we have to sit down and talk every now and then. We have to absolutely, you know what, this hair, we have to absolutely sit down and talk about things voluntarily because if we don't, it festers. In any situation, you should sit down and talk. Don't let it fester. especially with your best friend, especially because, even if you're married and everything, you still have these things that you wouldn't talk about to your spouse. That's what a best friend is for, right? Oh my gosh, I've got a rogue hair, y'all. I don't even know what it is. I'm fixing to pull them all out. But where does mutual support end and unhealthy independence or dependence begin? Can two friends still have each other's backs without automatically uh, becoming responsible for solving each other's problems? That's a hard one for me because I am the type of person, and I'll be completely honest with you, I will look for the first person that needs help, and to a fault will try and save them. Yeah. And there are times when some people, okay, not my best friend, I don't ever feel like she has tried to take advantage of me. But I've even had family members. You give an inch and they take a mile. And that's a hard thing to deal with. But yet again, I'm going to say, if you were true friends to begin with, then by all means, this is worth fixing. Okay? Because true friends know how to work together already. That's why they're best friends, right? My best friend and I, we met at a job, an actual job. I'm not going to say who we worked for because I don't want to go get in any trouble. I'm just trying to see right now. If I had to read, I couldn't. But the thing is, I've known her for probably 15 years, give or take. And when we first met, she was my superior where we were working. Now, my best friend is just like me. We both have had our spouses tell us, now I get it, especially when we're together. Like we do Instacart, okay? I don't mind telling you about that, but we do Instacart now. She does too. That's what we both do because it's just easier and nobody breathing down our neck. But the point I'm trying to make, we do these things together. It's never been about her being superior over me, ever, because we've always been equal in our work ethics, right? So when, one of us lags a little bit, the other one's gonna tell me, yes, me. I'm not used to working like this woman. She is a beast. In the heat, no AC in her car, all kinds of stuff, right? This woman is a better woman than me. But sometimes, just like she feels it, we want to knock each other upside the head. But then who would help me hide the bodies, right? Oh my gosh. Yes, bestie adage here, pardon me. Look, you can stop keeping score without ignoring an imbalance. Friendships it's not supposed to be perfect. And it's not going to be divided 50-50 transaction every day. That's not how that works. You may do that if you're making money together, sure, you're going to do it that way, right? But not the friendship, not the intention, not the amount of work you put in, because you're not going to let your bestie do all the work. Or you could be like me and do all the work because your bestie's hurt. That's the way that works. And one of these days when I'm not feeling good and I can't get in my own car and go do what I got to do, Bestie will be at my door. All I got to do is call. That's because we've sat down and we've talked about issues that we've had before. That is so important. Communication. I don't know who doesn't preach this, and I don't know anybody that always, every single time communicates. Not every single time. You can't say you have. There's no way. So sometimes one person needs more help and sometimes the other, right? Over years through a serious imbalance, it can create resentment even in someone who never expected repayment, right? How do you acknowledge that one person may have consistently given more, I don't know, without turning years of friendship into an invoice, right? Can somebody say, I can't keep giving at this level without damaging payment for everything they've given? That's the rough part for me. I feel like if I'm saying no, then I'm disappointing my best friend. And I don't ever want to do that. If it's just, I don't feel like it, well, I'm not going to tell them no. If it's actually something, some extenuating circumstance, okay, and I have to say no, here's the thing. My bestie, she knows I won't say no unless I absolutely have to. You and your best friend need to sit and talk. And if you are best friends, that's how that should play out. And if it doesn't right away, give her a minute. It's probably the first time. And that's okay. There's got to be a first for everything, right? So we're not ending it. We're changing the friendship. It may feel like rejection at first. It really will. For both of you, honestly. Because let's face it, it's going to piss her off until she stops and she thinks about it. And then in turn, that's going to piss you off because how could she, right? And then it's a spiral, and then everybody gets calm and it's done. You hope. And if it's not, you weren't that great of friends in the first place. So if two people have spent years showing love through rescuing, lending, problems, or always saying yes, just removing those behaviors can initially feel like somebody stopped caring. I'm not loaning money anymore. Can sound like distrust, right? You don't ever want people to think you don't trust them. Just, you know, I gave you money. You didn't do what you said you were going to do. Now it's a problem. And that's what ends it friendship. That's what'll end it first money. I can't come today can sound like abandonment. Or you need to handle this one yourself. Yeah, you know how that's going to rest on her shoulders. It sounds cold when the old pattern was immediate rescue. Yeah. How do longtime friends learn that a new boundary changes the behavior without necessarily changing the love underneath it? That's probably the $1 million question, if you ask me, because it's going to change it either way. And yes, negatively. But I'm going to keep preaching it. If you guys were good friends to begin with, that shouldn't be a factor. It really shouldn't. Sure, hurt feelings are going to be a factor. That's the one thing there should be. But if you're hurt and you sit down and talk about it, the hurt goes away, right? So I guess the ruling, can you love your bestie and still refuse to keep being besties the old way? Ending a friendship isn't the only possible response when something becomes unhealthy. Sometimes protecting the relationship, okay, means removing money from it, changing expectations, speaking more honestly, allowing each other to say no. It's okay to say no. You need to tell that to each other physically, absolutely say it to each other. It's okay to say no, bestie. You know what? Okay, bestie, it's okay to say no to me too. And if you have to for a while, make that the first sentence that comes out of your mouth. You can say no to me, but here's what I need. It's easy. It's easy if you know how to communicate and you really are truly best friends. That's how that should work. Accepting that neither person is responsible for rescuing the other is going to be hard. But both people have to participate in that change. So when being bestie isn't bestie for you anymore, can the friendship evolve into something healthier? And what happens if one person loves the friendship but refuses to let the old rules change? That's a lot to deal with, you guys. That's a lot to take in. It's a lot to, I don't know. Honestly, to our writer, I really think, and I guess my more specific ruling, and it's going to be the ruling I'm closing this whole bestie week with. Sometimes loving somebody means leaving, but sometimes loving somebody means staying and refusing to keep doing the same things that are slowly destroying something worth keeping, right? That makes sense. You don't have to hate somebody to need a boundary. You don't have to erase 10 years of friendship because year 11 got, complicated, right? No, you don't have to pretend everything is just fine because you're terrified that an honest conversation might change things. Maybe things need to change. Take the money out. Stop keeping score. Ask instead of assuming. Say no without writing a 5-page defense. Say you're hurt before resentment turns into ammunition, because that's what it'll be, and you know it. Let your best friend solve some of her own issues. She's a grown up. She can handle it. God only gives you what you can handle, right? I know I feel like I'm Superwoman, but hey, if that's how God feels, you know, trust her enough to let you solve yours. Okay. Then find out what's left when neither of you is constantly proving your friendship through sacrifice. Because that's what it is. It's sacrifice. And that's what we do. It's built into us, our DNA, I think. Because maybe being bestie wasn't the problem at all. Maybe you just forgot that the person you love is supposed to stand beside you, not permanently live on your back. You know, that's the final ruling for me. Sometimes the best thing you can do for your bestie is change how you bestie, right? Listen, y'all, take care of each other. Take care of your best friend at arm's length. I'll see you next time on Ask a Bee. We have Jukebox Journey tomorrow night. And y'all go see my friends at Tuber Chat. Love you.
I want to take a minute to shout out Tuber Chat. If you're a creator who's tired of surface level advice, says, and actually wants to understand how YouTube works, that's the space. It's real conversations with real creators who are in the trenches building channels, testing ideas. No posturing, no gatekeeping, no fake guru energy, just people sharing what's working, what isn't, and why. If you're serious about growing, learning, and not doing this alone, check out Tuber Chat. The link is in the description.
Boss be rising, baby TV.